About 3 years ago, the Waters Meet Foundation, as a staff and as a board, really began a strategic process to center community in all of the work we do. That was partly about like, what does that actually mean in a practical way in terms of our relationships? And it was also about really starting to be clear about using the resources that we have to invest in the communities and the places that have been furthest from the kind of success and health and prosperity that we're committed to. And the what that meant practically was moving from a place where, as a foundation, we would identify what we thought were broader issues around health equity in the community, look to outside this community for places where they've found solutions around those issues, and then bring them to this community and say, let's implement this here, which can be a practical way to really get at addressing specific individual issues. But when we recognize the reality that those issues are braided and the braiding of those challenges really affect specific communities individually, those solutions tend to be not sustainable and one-off. In this organization, we called that bright spotting. Those were kind of strategic investments in particular issues. So this shift to really centering community, which is partly about how do we recognize the leadership of individuals and organizations in those communities as having the best understanding about how to sustainably equip their community members to be in a different position around health equity and the issues that are prevalent there. And partly about how do we take our resources and really support that initiative and that leadership and that vision from those individuals and organizations, which ultimately became our Building Connections initiative. Building Connections is built on this belief, a theory of change, that individuals within communities that are most affected by the issues that we care about, and the organizations that those individuals are connected to, require both a level of resourcing and a level of sustainability to be able to make the kind of sustainable change, to be able to get at the visions that are there. Not investing in the systems that don't work and have never worked, because that's not what they're designed to do, but really investing in those communities and those organizations and those people. And so Building Connections is a practical representation of that strategic change and the theory or the belief that it's built on, that with the right amount of space for those individuals, those leaders, and those organizations to be able to work together on building their vision of what they want to do, and then to give them then the resources to be able to propagate that, to make that change. One, that puts those communities in a better position, and two, that we believe that those communities and those organizations and those leaders being able to work together and have a space where they can actually work through both the visioning process and then also the practical action to begin to make those changes, will create a different through line for what change looks like in this community.